Ich bin momentan wieder in Riga unterwegs, um einige P2P-Plattformen vor Ort zu besuchen, um mir Projekte anzuschauen und um auch wieder Interviews zu führen. Und heute war ich bei Debitum vor Ort und durfte den neuen CEO Anatolis Pudner interviewen. Dabei ist ein wirklich sehr spannendes Interview entstanden, 30 bis 40 Minuten lang, bei dem auch viele eurer Fragen aus den Kommentaren beantwortet wurden. Das Interview ist natürlich wieder auf Englisch. Ich bin nicht der beste Englischsprecher, aber fürs Interview sollte es auf jeden Fall reichen. Den meisten Part hat er sowieso gesprochen, also viel Spaß dabei. Und solltet ihr euch nach dem Video dazu entscheiden, bei Debitum zu investieren, macht das gerne über den Link oder den QR-Code, den ich hier unten einblende, weil darüber könnt ihr euch 1% Cashback auf eure Investments in den ersten 30 Tagen sichern. Und ihr unterstützt mich und meinen Kanal damit, weil ich eine kleine Empfehlungsprämie erhalte. Kurzer Hinweis an dieser Stelle, das Video dient lediglich Informationszwecken und stellt keinerlei Anlage- oder Kaufempfehlung dar. Lest euch den Disclaimer an dieser Stelle bitte einmal zu Ende durch. So, I'm sitting here today with the brand new Debitum CEO, Anatolis. Thank you for hosting me here and taking your time. So, Anatolius, for the starting, can you please introduce yourself, since you've been here for a long time already at Debitum? What was your work in the past and what are your new type of work now?
Yeah, sure, to keep it, first of all, hello everybody who is watching and or listening, and thank you, Leonard, for inviting me for this interview. This is my first interview as a CEO of Debitum Investments. That's why I'm a little nervous, so to say, but
That's
very
normal.
excited to be here. So let us see what it brings to us. So basically about me and my journey at Debitum Investments. So I've been a part of Debitum Investments team from the very beginning of a new era, as I call it. So that started with the acquisition of the company by the new shareholders. So it's been for a while. I joined in 2023, and although we did a lot of stuff together, I mean we are a small team, still a small team, been even smaller team back then. So we did a lot of things together with shareholders. We've had quite a good synergy with them. Still are having a good synergy, and despite of this, obviously, I had main areas of responsibility, and those were connected with people, with technology, with product development, and with processes. So it's been a hell of a journey, I would say. So a few gray hairs in my beard appeared, so to say, during this period of time, but I'm very proud of what we have achieved. So one of the metrics, for example, to mention is the outstanding portfolio. Back then in 2023, it was around 6 million euro. Now we are at around 50 million euro. Back then the company was not profitable. We are profitable now, and in general we are operating on a different level and corporate management in terms of the kind of a scalability of the services that we provide, and definitely the security of data and everything that we store, collect, and transfer around. So yeah, pretty proud. And now I'm as a CEO, I will lead this journey together with an active shareholder, the sole shareholder now, Ingus, who will ensure the control function and supervisory function together with the risk management function. So together with 15 plus more people inside of the team, we're pretty much excited about what the future will bring us.
Nice, thank you so much. So before Debitum, what have been your stations before you joined the team?
Yeah, before Debitum, I've been working both like conventional and non-conventional investment in the investment world. So I've done quite a lot of private investment banking in the biggest banks here, investment banks in Latvia. So the main thing that I've done was attraction of the client funds to the open-ended mutual funds. So basically, I've worked a lot with traditional, so to say, fund managers, active fund managers. Back then, ETFs were appearing as an alternative, and very kind of a big asset class, right? So, and then I also did some kind of operational things in fintech industry. I did crowdfunding, and then I joined Debitum Investments, got invited here.
Okay. Sounds very nice. So staying at Debitum as a company, you already mentioned that you're profitable now. So 2024 was the first year you.
Yes, actually, we ended 2024 with already like a very small plus. So basically, yeah.
So what are you expecting for 2025?
So we are now in the process of agreeing on the goals that we are setting up for 2026. But you just asked for 2025, sorry. So for 2025, we will be, I think, 300 plus K euros.
That's solid, all right.
Profitable.
So what was like the biggest indicator for be profitable now? Why haven't you been profitable before? Was it because you have missing investors on the platform before and you have now more and it's more scalable now?
Yeah.
Or what is the biggest indicator on this side?
I think that is a multi-componental, so to say, question to answer. There have been a lot of things that we've changed during this period of time of me kind of being an active chief operations in Debitum. So one of the component definitely is the borrowing side and what is the kind of how is it marketed and how do we market and what is the optimal way to attract investors' funds and what is the optimal kind of a weight of the cost versus benefits that we do in all of the channels. So the company even didn't have a lot of kind of a reporting and data-driven decisions when I entered. There were also other difficulties with the main and business critical functions. So to keep it short, probably definitely since we earn and the bottom line is very much affected by the invested funds on the platform, definitely the thing that we concentrated on with the new shareholders and this new vision and new era was to attract more investors, attract more funds, but we wanted it always and still want to make it in a very kind of a sustainable way and long-term, with a long-term vision in place. Thus, we have kind of a consciously limited the borrowing side to only those businesses that are solid from the past, but also adding something new that we pretty much are confident about and we understand those businesses. That is why kind of ensuring that our reputation is solid, we don't have defaults and so on and so on, which probably obviously happens in the financing world.
Yeah, so from the earning money side, your only way of earning money right now is like a commission, right? Because you don't have any fees on the platform itself. You get like commissions from the borrowers or...
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So the borrowing company pays us the fee for funds that we collect from investors.
It's a percentage of the invested money or...
Exactly.
Okay. So for you, it's even better when you have maybe fewer investors, but with a lot of money, have a lot of investors with only 10 euros in Debitum?
Yes. Okay. So the average ticket now for investors is around 3 to 4K euros. So by ticket, I imply the outstanding investment of the investor. Definitely, for example, when I was in the banking, right, there were kind of a bigger investors. Definitely, all of the money that went through the banking kind of a system and so on should have been, for example, processed and checked and so on and so on. Everything that we do now, for example, as well. But when you have a lot more investors in terms of quantity, definitely it is harder in terms of like all of the systems, the scalability of them, of the infrastructure, since they're just a very lot kind of a different personalities and individuals and so on and so on. And by the way, our investors are mostly individuals and retail investors, not businesses.
Oh, okay, interesting. So perfect. From this side, now we're going to the changes you're making now, because there's a lot. Like every week is a new announcement in the last weeks.
We have this sprint.
You started to just redo the dashboard, and then you launched the loyalty program, what is very interesting. So what is your expectation from the loyalty program? Why have you introduced this? Because you can then keep the investors on the platform because they have a loyalty, or?
Yeah, I think that loyalty is something that like every company has or should have, probably, because obviously we are interested in retaining, not only acquiring new investors. That is why also as a part of the loyalty program now, we didn't want to kind of discredit one group of investors from another ones, like rich people from not rich people. That is why we introduced like or thing. So in order to kind of be on a higher level within the loyalty program, there is option also to invite friends, which is this referral program is embedded in the loyalty program. And why we have done it this way, except of what I've just mentioned of this discrediting the kind of the investor groups, is because we haven't had a good performing referral program. So in this way, we also want to kind of make more effective this referral program as well.
Interesting, yeah.
So yeah. So and loyalty, definitely, there is a lot of competition. I will be frank, and there are a lot of platforms out there, both licensed and non-licensed, and platforms are definitely offering different interest rates and so on, and campaigns, marketing campaigns. So we've experienced such a thing that during one campaign on another platform, investors are like withdrawing their funds from our platform. Definitely, as for business, like we are thinking about us and about making our business, so we are making something that keeps the money on the platform. And I think this is quite like obvious thing to do, self-evident.
Okay. So besides the loyalty program, the most changes so far was like not like impacting the investment itself. It was like design stuff, the infrastructure of the website and behind. Maybe you already did a good job because like a couple of days ago, Cloudflare crashed the whole internet, but Debitum was working. So
thanks.
Good job on that.
Thanks.
Yeah, but will there be like new in this circle of changes now? Will there be new products we can expect? Will there be maybe the secondary market already now, or what is planned for the next weeks?
Yeah, well, we understand we have defined internally two main things that we would like to work and like develop is and change in a positive kind of a trend is that diversification, right? So diversification remains not sufficient to our understanding, both for our business, since we are generating a lot of revenue as a business from the LFDF, which constitutes around 60% of the outstanding portfolio. And also for investors, obviously. For investors, I don't think that my assumption would be, my hypothesis is that it's not that critical for investors. I mean, the lack of diversification, especially on our platform, since there are a lot of different other platforms that offer different kind of assets and borrowing companies and so on and so on. That is why, like, usually investors, by speaking with investors, you know that very well, probably, that they diversify across platforms.
Exactly.
So one of the things is this diversification that we definitely will work on in 2026, and very hopefully shortly we will announce something juicy and nice with this regard. But back to your question about this secondary market, thus liquidity. Liquidity is another thing that we are working on, not necessarily, although I'm not excluding this option of us launching secondary market. We will have quite a nice product. We're working on it we have been working on it for a while already. We've got an approval and kind of legal opinion on whether we as a licensed firm can do that. I think that especially like the way we will do this will be the very first such case in the licensed environment of our field. So pretty excited about this.
But you can't tell more about it now?
So what I can tell is that it will be offering investors most probably lower interest rate, but it will be very, very high liquid instrument.
Okay.
So I think that investors in the industry who invest on the P2P platforms more or less understand what I'm referring to, but yeah, the thing that we will offer is will work a little bit differently, and I think it will solve the liquidity thing. And I think actually that it is even better than secondary market, because secondary market usually it gets also commissioned by the platform. I mean, every deal that happens happens also like with the fee inside for the platform. This is one. The second thing is that you always need, for a secondary market, you always need a counterparty, right? So definitely in our products there will be a counterparty, but there will be no need to find a counterparty and a fair price for every selling deal. So yeah, that is why I'm quite excited about this as well. So, but this is in 2026, probably the first or the second quarter. Hopefully it will be done.
Okay, I'm excited. So we already talked a little bit about the projects on the platform, like LFDF is the biggest at the moment. You have Sandbox, you have Triple Dragon, you have Uno, so like 4 or 5 projects at the moment only. And you already told me that you want to get new projects on the platform. But is there like a new project coming soon on the platform, or can we only expect it in 1 or 2 years? So what's...
No, definitely. So we are expecting, we call those projects financing partners now. So we don't have only loan originators, since we're not only in the business of refinancing already issued loans, which is this ABS model and securitization of the and so on of the assets. We are also, and actually we're more into nodes, and since LFDF is mostly attracting funds as a node, so bond issuer, I mean, this is also under a MiFID, a major regulation. So yeah, so another partner is coming within a month, I would say.
Oh, that's
so this is very close. So we have signed the agreement with the partner already. So the only thing that remains is the approval of the Latvian bank. We have received indication that it will be that we will receive it. So, but yeah, there are some formalities to work on.
Will it be also a partner from the Baltic states, or completely different area on the world?
It will be the partner from the Baltic states. Yeah.
All right. I'm excited for this. So now we talked a lot about the new changes, Debitum in general, your person. Now switch a little bit to the risk side also on the platform, maybe for the projects. So what are the biggest risks for Debitum itself? Because I got a lot of questions about Latvia sitting next to Russia. Maybe Debitum changed the head office to Central Europe or something like this. What is your thought on this?
Okay. So yeah, to begin with, let me think. Let me probably break down what is implied by the investment platform, so that to answer this question. So basically, I would argue, if I may, that investment platform is the technological solution, digital solution, right, that serves as an instrument for investors to fund the businesses, right? Obviously, this instrument by itself gets serviced by the team that is located, as you mentioned, and headquartered in Riga, in Latvia. And definitely we do a lot of financial transactions, since we're taking money from investors and then giving and executing orders of investors and giving to the borrowing companies. Definitely we have these borrowing companies, financing partners, right, thing and component that causes a lot of both credit risk, but credit risk is taken mostly by the investors. That is why they receive higher than risk-free returns, which is, I think in Germany, for Germany, it's around, for 10 years bonds is around, last time I checked, 3 to 4% or something. So we're having, in euro around like till 15%. So definitely it comes with a risk. Right, and also reputational risk for us as the platform, since in case there will be some problems in returning back the money to investors, we will need to explain, so to say, and need to work on increasing the trust, because we are the ones who are the middlemen between the investors and the borrowing companies. So returning back to those, like having said everything what I just said, so we have a technology, and obviously that may cause a risk as well. So everything that is connected with cybersecurity, with data protection, data security and safety, integrity, these kind of things. What we do with like managing, in terms of managing these risks is, I would say, one word, DORA. So this is Digital Operations Resilience Act, the pan-European regulation that we as a financial institution registered in EU country should be compliant with. And we are, so it covers everything that I just mentioned, and it covers a lot of things, more in terms of also procedural side of what is connected and related to the technology as an instrument for what we're doing, right? So this is the first. Then we are a small company. We have like around 15 people in-house. So that is why business continuity as a kind of a component that also can cause some risks to the platform is relevant here. What we do, and me as a chief operations been doing for the last couple of years at Debitum Investments, was ensuring that we are having standardized, as much automized as possible, optimized processes, and also we defined critical business functions, and we documented those processes, and we ensure that there is a person in the company who substitutes another person who is like the main doer of this task, whatever it is. For example, myself, I am responsible to substitute the person, my colleague Armin's, as a financial analyst when he's absent and we need to launch assets on the platform. So every colleague has another field of responsibilities just to cover for another person who is probably absent. Since without people, also, as we understand, the platform will not work efficiently, so to say. Then we have these finances, right, as a major component, since we do a lot of transactions. So we have this covered because we have multiple bank accounts. I'm pretty solid on this. So, and then most probably the main thing that you referred to is these borrowing companies, the proximity to an aggressive country, being Russian Federation, and so on. So there is such a risk for the platform and for investors. However, I feel quite confident that, and kind of I hope that everything will be okay, although I'm not that sure, right? So I cannot be sure. So because of several reasons. So within the last 3 years, Baltic markets, to my opinion, experienced like a shift. So institutional investor interest is back in the Baltic markets. We have this Inka huge deal of acquisition of forests for, I guess, 700
That was IKEA, right?
million. Yeah. So this is, Inka is the main retailer of IKEA. It acquired from Sodra a lot of forests in Latvia, I guess, or in like the whole Baltics, but I guess in Latvia. So for 700 million plus deal it was, right? We have also individual wealth rising. We have different incentives on a kind of a state level for banks to credit small to medium enterprises. We have us as an alternative way of getting finances for the businesses, right? Why does it matter? Because SMEs contribute a lot to GDP of the country, and by financing businesses, obviously they get this funding to develop their businesses, earn money, and invest back in the economy, and so on and so on. So with the fact, back to this Russian aggression and so on, basically this all leads us, what I just mentioned, to also having this 4 to 5 target of GDP invested in the defense industry that Latvia now currently has, which is much more than 2% that is required, I guess, by NATO, like from being just a member of the NATO. We have Sweden and Finland that joined NATO, covering this northern flank of potential kind of invasion, right? So we have energy sovereignty since we got like from the Russian Breitel and so on and so on. So there is a lot of things that happen and that are positive that makes me think that everything will be okay.
Okay, sounds promising.
I hope so.
So staying at the questions from my community, one of the questions was also with the CEO switch, why they also switched the shares in the company. Why doesn't he just hold the shares?
Okay, so yeah, Arix, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Arix and Ingus. So two shareholders that acquired the company back in 2023, and when I joined as well as a manager. So we still are in a very friendly relationship with Arix. But for a while ago, we got to know that Arix has ambitions outside of the Debitum Investments and also, as a matter of fact, outside of the Latvia. So he's in the United States now, developing a project that may be potentially, at least we've talked, and this is not an official information, but we've talked that with Arix that probably this project will be brought also to the Debitum Investments platform.
So the first US project.
Maybe. Probably US, probably some branches of in Europe, since I guess that intercontinental, this deal would be very much hard to kind of also on a regulatory perspective and side. So we got to know that Arix has these ambitions, and obviously it is okay. I mean, we set up a lot of things here together. I learned a lot from Arix. He's a great professional. So that is why he exited the company, because he is not involved now in any nor operational nor financing side. So he sold his shares to Ingus. Ingus has been more on a passive side. He has been always responsible for something related to marketing and these areas of responsibilities. Now, as I mentioned, he will be doing other stuff, and we are still friends. Yeah, Arix exited because he has another ambitions, and Ingus now is entering a more active phase of Debitum Investments. Also, we just spoke yesterday. He also wants to be kind of a publicly exposed, so to say, and probably the next interview that will appear on the net will be with Ingus. He's also a very decent professional, so he has a lot of things and different angle. That is why I think our team is strong, because of like management and the team being a little different people, right? But still professional. So yeah. Hopefully we will reach the highest target that we can set up.
All right, thank you. So coming to the last difficult question, it's about the Ukrainian loans. So
my favorite one
for everyone. So you don't have default loans at the moment, but you have these frozen loans from the Ukraine. Last week or 2 weeks ago, the one company got they have no license anymore. So what can investors expect now? Will this be a default or?
Sure. Before we dig into like answering this particular question, probably if you let me, then I will just run through the quick facts about the Ukraine. So first of all, the outstanding portfolio is around 2 million euro, right? As opposed to 50 million euro now of our outstanding portfolio. There are approximately 600 to 700 investors inside of this investment. The average or the median ticket is around 600 euros. There are a couple of big investors, although majorly the exposure is around 600 euros. So I want to remind us that, and viewers, listeners, with you, that in Ukraine there is a martial law that prevents and prohibits Ukrainian companies to service the foreign debt, unfortunately including our investors. So we're not expecting any repayments before the martial law is lifted, at least for now. So, before the martial law is lifted, we have a restructuring agreement in place. So that says that after martial law is lifted, the company will pay according to a certain schedule, pay the loan back, obviously. So as far as we are concerned now, and we are in continuous talks with our kind of attorneys, both in Ukraine and in Estonia, actually, because like initially before the restructuring, the a loan originator was Chain Finance OÜ, which is an Estonian entity. This, by the way, various jurisdictions also affect, obviously, the complexity of everything that is happening, right? So, as far as we are concerned, so the agreement, the restructuring agreement in place, it is not breached. That is why we don't have any legal grounds to enforce the debt. Even if we would have, such a ground, then it would be quite difficult, since we would enforce a debt in the country that is in an active war, right? So that might even jeopardize, so to say, the potential return for the investor, since it seems like war definitely affects the effectiveness, so to say, of the institutions that would be involved in such a debt collection. And those guys who know how to do things fast, for example, asset reallocation to another entity and so on, they could do that, I think. So anyways, returning back, we have a martial law prohibiting to service the foreign debt. We have a restructuring agreement that is not breached. That is why what is left for us as a broker that acts in the best interest of investors is monitoring what is happening with the company. Monitoring and also be open-minded for alternative solutions. And I think we are just very, very cautious with every, so to say, next step that we take with this regard. Why? Because we want to ensure the safety and the same protection of investors' interest across all of the investors inside this investment. So,
Okay, perfect. So, but do you have more information as why they don't have the license anymore?
Yeah, about the license, this fact that it has been revoked. So basically, there was an information in Ukraine, and you know that some parts of Ukraine is, so for example, this same Crimea, it's not recognized by the world, actually the Western world, and by Ukraine, that it is a Russian territory. So that is why there is this territory thing, and it's quite easy to allege that there is a connection of any person being Ukrainian, even right, with connections with Russia, since Russia is all over the place and so on and so on. So as I understand from the partners, Ukrainian partners, Ukrainian bank, National Bank, received information that somebody from the management of the company that we under discussion is connected with the Russian Federation, and this caused the revoke of the license.
Okay.
So the license, the absence of the license does not mean the insolvency or something bad. It means that the company cannot operate as a licensed institution, thus it cannot fund new kind of loans, issue new loans, for example. And this company is dealing with lease. So in the industry of like auto lease, right? Credit auto purchases. So this is not happening since the license has been revoked. However, there is a portfolio of the issued loans by that moment. And the money, as we monitor the situation and the financials of the company, the money keeps being repaid, and there is a list of assets that are collateralized. So everything is going on. I mean, not probably to grow the business, but to receive what has already been kind of a given as a financing. It is happening. So that is why we tried just to kind of avoid definitely information asymmetry and publish information about this revocation of the license in the blog.
All right. So time will bring the answers on this point, because we have to wait until things change in Ukraine. Yeah?
I think so. I very hope that it will be very soon.
Everybody hopes.
Yeah. And definitely there can be potential solutions. I mean, for example, that somebody would be able and willing to purchase the whole kind of thing from our investors. However, this is also a very complicated process because of the different jurisdictions, because of the AML reasons. We would need to check the potential buyer, the funds of it. We will need to understand how the money flow will go, whether we need to open a bank account in Ukraine to receive money, and so on and so on. So whether the money goes via us or not via us, and whether we are acting in the best interests of investors by agreeing to a certain, for example, discount, whether it is fair to offer such a discount to investors. So there is a lot of components to this. This is why it is not, there is no such a progress that could be expected by our investors. I'm sorry for this, but we are dealing with this. And yeah, one of the things that I probably just want to remind is that the financing happened before 2022, so we're in 2022 as well, right? Including, so like 1.5 years before the current management of the company entered the company. So yeah, definitely we're bearing the responsibility of this case, and we are dealing with this. However, yeah, due to the complexities, it is a slow process.
But a lot of platforms dealing with this. I had this interview with Mintos also, and they're dealing a lot with Ukrainian debt. So yeah, understandable. So changing now to a positive thing again, coming to the last question, where do you see yourself and Debitum in 10 years? So what is the vision for Debitum?
Oh, 10 years is quite a big, long horizon, so to say. I'm not sure that we have a plan for 10 years, but without mentioning a specific term, so to say, I would say that the main thing that I would like to kind of work on and change is the perception of ours in the investment world. I mean, as I mentioned, we are not dealing that much even with B2B or P2B stuff, right? We're financing businesses, those are direct kind of bond issuances of the bond issuers, right? Our financing partners. And we are very much regulated. We are very much spending a lot of resources on sustaining the license. We are still yet in spite of this, we're still perceived as B2B industry. And also from this, my experience from the conventional investment world, so to say, when I speak with investors with whom I spoke in my previous works, so they are hearing P2P and then they ask a couple of questions and then I understand that they are not anymore interested. But then I think, wait a second, we're a brokerage or the investment firm licensed as almost any other brokerage in the EU is, and we are still kind of perceived as something because of some scams that happened a couple of years ago and so on and so on, but we're operating on a different level. It is true. We are still have things to work on, for example, the accountability of the financial instruments with, I don't know, something that is traded on the exchanges. Usually there are depositories who provide this kind of a reliability of the net asset value of the assets that are held and so on and so on. We have not transferable financial instruments. I mean, you cannot transfer something that you invested and received as a financial instrument with us to another broker. This is one of the problems. I mean, but definitely this is like the long-term thing that we would like to work on, to change this perception of ours in the investment world.
All right. Sounds good. Thank you so much for taking time, hosting me here.
Thank you, Linus.
It was very interesting. Thank you.
Ja, das war's mit dem Interview. Ich hoffe, es war was Spannendes für euch dabei und ihr konntet was mitnehmen. Und wenn ihr noch irgendwelche offenen Fragen habt, schreibt sie einfach in die Kommentare und schreibt auch gerne mal in die Kommentare, was eure Debitum-Erfahrung bisher ist. Und denkt auf jeden Fall dran, wenn ihr Debitum mal ausprobieren wollt, das über den QR-Code oder den Link hier unten zu machen, weil darüber könnt ihr euch 1% Cashback auf eure Investments in den ersten 30 Tagen sichern. Ansonsten würde ich sagen, lasst gerne einen Daumen nach oben da und ein Abo, damit wir uns im nächsten Video wiedersehen. Bis dahin und ciao.